Hello everybody. Welcome. Happy Friday. Welcome. My name is April. You're watching my channel Chalking Up the Walls and you're in my craft room. So like I said, welcome and happy Friday. So we're actually going to do our Thrifty Thursday version today on a Friday because yesterday just got away from me and I just didn't get a chance to do it. So we're doing it now. This week's find is this super cool, get this price tag off here. There's super cool frame. Like, look at it's natural wood. It's got like these really cool grooves in it. And I just thought it was super like unique and cool. I don't know how else to say it. It's just fun. I like it. It's very farmhousey. It's very cabiny. You could, paint it and make it more modern if you want, but why do that? Unless that's your style. But anyway, I got this frame from the local thrift shop for $1. And we are going to dress it up and make it into a cute, probably a wall hanging. It actually stands up on its own though, so you could, I just tested you. Now you do stand up on your own. Maybe you have to do it this way. So you could put it, like on a mantle. For some extra stability, you could definitely put, like some of those Jenga blocks and things that we do on the bottom. It has like, an indent here where you could use it and hang it this way. Or, you could add like a sawtooth hanger and stuff if you wanted to put it on a wall. So I don't know exactly where it's going to land, but it's going to be fun. So this is our find that we're going to upcycle today using a couple other little thrifted finds that we found a couple weeks ago. So first things first, I need to do a little bit of painting. Not a lot, but a little bit. So let's go ahead and get that started. And while our paint dries, we can get everything kind of like cut down and put together. But I'm thinking that this is going to be a super fun, very easy to personalize, right? And so from what I have seen, back in January, whenever the year like got started, I did a little bit of research on, like home decor trends and craft trends and, like what's going to be cool, what's going to be popular in 2026. And one of the things that I thought was interesting that I found is monograms are wildly popular now. I remember them being like really popular when I was younger, like everybody had the backpack with their initials on it and this, that, and the other. But monograms are really making a comeback. Personalized decor is making a huge comeback. Everybody is really focusing on their decor being like meaningful and whatnot. So that's what I'm doing with this. Let's, all right, let's put you here. I didn't think my tape placement out very well, but that's okay. One more little piece of tape and we'll have it done. So I am using a couple of wood cuts or little wood things that I had in my stash. I know for a fact that both of these came from that wood section from the hobby store. Again, you could probably find similar things elsewhere. I know that they have these really thin wood letters at Dollar General because I was there earlier buying some cat food and I happened to see them. But I just have a ton of them. I use them for a lot of different crafts. And actually I've had this pack for a while because I remember using them when I made some like little Easter decor, Easter gifts last year. We used those egg cartons and dressed them up. And those were really fun. So I am just going to take some acrylic paint in the color Espresso because I want it to be dark. And then the green color I'm using is Avocado because I want it to stay fairly neutral. So I just think these two colors are going to be great. But, if you're making it, do it however you want. So real quickly, we're just going to take our makeup sponge and do one coat over our wood cuts. And if we have to go back over and darken them up, well, we will. But I want to at least get one down so we can get it drying, right? So makeup sponge to the brown, and then I'm going to do the same thing in the green and do this like kind of faux wreath looking thing. All right, so I'm just dabbing in, and we're going to paint. I love using these makeup sponges. They are very inexpensive. You get a really like good amount of them in a package. I buy mine from the Amazon Basics, but I know for a fact that you can get them at like Walmart, Walgreens, probably anywhere. I'm sure the dollar store sells things like this. But they're just your like wedge makeup sponges. And I cut them down to whatever size I need and try to use like even like the little pieces of them. Like this one obviously has been cut down a few times. To get even more use out of them, but I think I did the math one day, or I know I did the math one day, and I think per sponge, they're like 8 cents or something like that, so no worries there. Very inexpensive. You could definitely use a paintbrush if you want, and I mean, I paint with paintbrushes quite a bit too, but I like the look and the coverage that these makeup sponges give. And I like the fact that they're inexpensive and, you know, I try not to be wasteful with my craft projects and my supplies and whatnot, but some things, in my opinion, are one-time use. And obviously, the paint sponges are. But for that price, you just can't beat it. All right, I think this green is probably going to be good with one coat, which is crazy to me because greens always take multiple coats. So when it dries, we'll see where we're at. But like I said, I'm trying to keep it fairly rustic and very neutral. So this would work in anyone's decor. If you've got, you know, like a cabin kind of thing or just like a natural type of decorating. But anyway, here we are. We got our wreath. And I am using the letter W because, you know, my last name starts with W. I think this project as a whole, it's very versatile. You can personalize it however you want. If your last name starts with an R or an L or some other different letter, that's fine. I think if you were going for a very, like, neutral, woodsy style, cabin style nursery, or even like a child's room, I think this would be super cool in something like that. It wouldn't even have to be like a little kid's room, but you know, a room. And you could use, you know, like my daughter's name is Lily, so we could use an L. Or if you don't want to do the monogram, you know, you could put anything inside of this. But all right, so I'm just taking my, I think they're called keys that you use to open paint cans, that I generally use to open my wax. So that just makes it easier, saves the nails. And we have, this is our Becker. This is kind of our guide. Okay, so back to the other two items that we are using from the thrift store. You could do this with cardstock. You could do this really with anything, or for that matter, you could just paint a piece of watercolor paper, or you could probably even just paint like this little cardboard backing. But I am going to use another piece of the foam. Remember, we got our foam, this huge stack of like all these different colors from the thrift shop not too long ago, and I'm trying to come up with a few different projects to use them for. I got a huge bundle of, and I've used a green one, but I mean, I got this huge stack of them for like 25 cents. So very inexpensive, all kinds of cool colors. And we are going to use this brown one. You're not going to really be able to see it, but I want it to be like dark enough where you're not going to be able to see through the, I just lost my train of thought. The burlap. Not going to be able to see through that. And so if you do, I kind of want it to be sort of a muted color. So all I did was take that backing and just draw along it with a pencil. I'm going to take my scissors and cut it out. And we will have our Becker ready to go. All right, this foam is really easy. These foam sheets are really easy to work with. They cut really well. I'm I'm not gonna need that tiny piece, but I might do something. This is like the perfect size for a bookmark. Just saying, we could poke a hole and do something cool with that. But for a later date with that. All right, so let me just double check and make sure that this fits in here. Pretty good, pretty good. Good enough, anyway. All right, great. So that's good. And then I'm gonna do the same thing with our burlap, because this piece was also from the thrift store. It was in one of those bags that, remember my friend was, had some craft materials and whatnot that she gave to me and said, make something fun with. So we did our project around St. Patrick's Day. Actually, oddly enough, using a frame too. But we did one project with part of it, and now we're going to use the other piece for this one. Okay, so again, I just traced it with my pencil, and I'm just coming in with my scissors, and I'm just going to cut it down so it will fit inside the inside of this frame. Okay, there is that. All right, so while we're cutting, you guys talk to me. What have you guys been doing today? Do you have any big plans for the weekend? Anybody? We're getting towards the end of the Lent season. Anybody going to get any fish tonight? There should be one more Friday. Actually, it'll be Good Friday. That'll be a busy time, I'm sure, for the places that sell fish. But my husband and I think are going to go out and get some fish or something along those lines from one of our local restaurants here, actually down in a little town called Maystown. If you guys are local, there is a tavern slash restaurant in Maystown that has really, really good food. And I haven't been there for a while, and I actually have a gift card from there that I need to use. So that is our plan for the evening. I don't really know if we have much else planned out for our weekend, though. This is the beginning of spring break, so I can probably come up with a few fun things to do. Okay, now, I know I cut you. The foam is like the perfect size, so I may need to cut it down a little bit, but I'm hoping I can just kind of shove it in here. Okay, so we went... Hopefully you guys were able to see that. I kind of went fast with that. But we went burlap, which needs to be tighter. Burlap, foam, and backer. The main reason I'm putting this foam in here, though, is that we may have to tape it off, which wouldn't be the end of the world. But I want it to sit like flush. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that. Okay, so easy enough, no big deal. But the reason that I'm putting this foam in here is I don't want, you guys will see, eventually the pieces that we painted, we're gonna be gluing on top of here. And I don't want that glue to go through and get stuck to this. Obviously, we could always cut another piece of cardboard, wouldn't be the end of the world. But I'm just gonna protect it with this piece of foam, and I want the like browns to show through. So I am going to take, I think just some regular Scotch tape. You know, you could Mod Podge it down, and maybe that wouldn't have been a terrible idea, but for the sake of time, I am just going to take, I'm gonna do it this way. Take a piece of our Scotch tape and put it right on the edge, because I don't want this showing through the frame, but we've got a little bit of room to groove here. So let's put it right on the edge, and then we can flip it over, and this should keep our burlap tight on our foam. Okay, that's good. That's good. We're going to do the exact same thing on this side, and I may end up actually doing all four sides because I want it to sit flat. I picked up a piece of white something, so let's get rid of that. All right, and again, we're just sticking our tape here, and we're just folding it over just to keep that burlap flat and tight on this. And let's see. I may need to move it up a little bit. Let's see where we're at here. That might actually work though. All right, let's lay this in here. I did not tape that even remotely close to straight. Let's try that again. Okay, down it goes. Keep it tight. If we need to put a little glue on there, we can. But I'm trying to avoid that. Okay. All right, we just taped it to the back. And this should sit in here. You know what? I may have cut this just a little bit. Okay, that looks good. It's fitting in here, but it's kind of like folding up in the middle, which is gonna be okay. We'll just be able to kind of press it back down the way we like it. I actually kind of like the way that looks. Okay, so let's take this backer that came with our frame, shove it in here, fold down one of them just to make sure it's okay, and then see if we can get this to lay fairly flat on here. Let me see. I want it to be flatter than that, y'all. Okay, we should have just glued it to begin with. We should have. So let's just do that. Okay, start over. Or you know what might actually like work better is if I were to cut down just a little bit of both sides here. Ooh, you know what we could do? Oh, my husband sent me a text. He's taking a little bit of a ride while I finish this up. And that's cool. All right, so I am gonna trim up both of these just a little bit. That way it fits, in my opinion, flatter and smoother. Because that's what I want. I don't want it to look like it's like coming out of the frame. I want it to look like it's flat against the frame. Okay. Trial and error, y'all. That's the fun of crafting. No worries. Okay, so I think, though, now that we have kind of figured that out, I'm going to take some little sticky dots. We could use, these aren't really dots, they're, you know, squares. But I have a bunch of them from different cutouts that I have gotten. All right, so let's flip this over. So I might as well use them. They are very sticky. The only downside to them is they're not exactly easy to get off, especially when you have nails like I do. But we're going to get it. Okay, so we're just gonna peel these off, and I'm just gonna put a few of these just kind of sporadically on here. Maybe. Not that one. I kind of got it all crazy wrinkled up. You know what? Instead of that, let's see if this will work. So, anybody who does much paper crafting would have this in their stash. This is Crafter's glue, and it's not cooperating with me either. Y'all? All right. And I don't feel like finding another one. So back to these squares. We're going to get this down one way or another. Could definitely have just used some glue. That probably would have been easier. Okay, I'm just sticking some of these on here. And we're going to peel the tops of them off with our glue. With our little glue stickies. Okay. I should have had like a little piece of pliers, or not pliers, but like tweezers to pull these off. But once you can get a corner started, you just kind of hold it down with your nail and then pull up on the white tab. And you will have your sticky dot down. Okay, one down. Couple more to go. I just want to get this burlap to lay flat. If these sticky dots don't work, I'm going to end up gluing you. It would be a whole lot cooler if I didn't have to. but I might. We shall see. No, it's going to be fine. These things are okay. They just take some patience. They just take a little bit of patience. And you just kind of peel back. But like I was saying, I have a bunch of these left over because they come with some of the like woodcuts that I get directly from the chalk site. So like our bird cutouts, for example, you use these to attach your wings and just different things like that. So I have a bunch of them just laying around. We might as well use them. Use what you have. Stay on the paper. Okay, there's a couple of them down. Thinking maybe one or two more and we should be able to get this pretty secure. All right, so that one down and this one down. But again, we could have taken just some Mod Podge, covered this up. That actually probably, in the long run, probably would have been faster. I was thinking not because we'd have to dry it, but now that we're fighting with all these little glue dots, I wonder what happened to my my craft dots. I wonder if they like dried up or what, because I've never had an issue with them doing that. But whatever, it's fine. I have another set somewhere, or another one of these like little craft runners, but I'm not really sure where it is. Okay. There's that. There's that. And I think that's probably going to be okay. It is, except for they keep sticking to my fingernails. Okay, it's gonna be fine now. What actually would have been really convenient, but I don't have any here in my craft room, would have been just some like double stick tape. Okay, let's see where this gets us. I just want it to lay flat. I don't need to cover the whole thing. I just want the burlap to lay somewhat flat on here. I think that's pretty good. I think that's good. Good enough. You guys will totally like, it'll be fine. Plus, like I said, we cut it down, so it should fit better in here. Okay, great. Except for we may need to trim off the top a tad. All right. Just a little bit. Okay, because I'm finding the better that it fits in this space, the flatter it's going to lay. I think my problem is that I had it cut exactly to size, so it wasn't wanting to lay flat. Where are we at? Oh, much better. Oh, much, much better. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's fold our tabs down. All right. Well, that portion of the project was supposed to be the quick and easy part, but, you know, you live and learn. You craft, you have fun, it's good. All right, so we're just going to smooth this down, kind of tuck it in as we can. And now we have this, which is really cute on its own. I mean, you know, obviously you're going to want to put something up in there. But like I was saying, you know, and now we get to the part where A, I have fuzz all over, and B, this is the part where you really, really get to personalize it. So I was like looking through just some stuff before I had found, that's way too much, but whatever, we'll be able to scoop some of it back in here. I'm going to do one more coat on my W, just to make it a little darker. Not really darker, obviously the color's not changing, but just to make it a little less opaque. And that is going to be good. Okay, I got way too much of this brown in here though, so before it starts to dry, I'm just going to take one of my little spatulas and just scoop it in here. I know that probably like seems odd, but this is enough paste where I could paint probably like 3 or 4 of these letters, so... As always, waste not, want not. Okay, we should be done with paint. It looks good. It does, it does. Okay, this will take just a brief second to dry, and while that's drying, let's go ahead and get this on here. But anyway, as I was saying, like, this is just an insanely personalizable, gosh, so many syllables, deals, right? So we took our wooden frame, we backed it with this burlap, right, which looks adorable in itself. And like I was thinking, you could put anything in here. I actually found, this came from a thrift store when we were on vacation, this really cool burlap flower. You could maybe like tea stain it or just like slightly stain it and just do something like really rustic and cute like that. I know this is probably going to be backwards for you guys because here we are, but you could do any sort of wood cutout. You know, this would be super cute for like a young couple or anybody for like an anniversary type. Just have the word love in there. But what I am going to do is make it personalized for me and my household. And as I said, my last name starts with a W, so that's what we're doing. But it would be super cute to put anything you want in there. Wood cuts, you could find, I even have this really, I thought about this too, this very like archaic wooden thick, it almost looks like somebody literally like carved it out of like a piece of tree, like a thick like wood chunk. And I thought about maybe doing that. How adorable is that? Right, just real rustic, cute decor. Nothing flamboyant, nothing fancy, but I want this, and obviously there is nothing at this point on the back, so this could be the top, this could be the top. You could even do it this way, for that matter. I never thought about that. Ooh. Well, ooh, I kind of like it going that direction. I think we may have changed our mind. Okay, so like I was saying, top, bottom, left, right, it really doesn't matter. Just one or the other. Okay, so you can, as I was saying, put anything you want in there. It could be as simple as just some flowers. You could have, I don't know, your kid maybe like draw you a little something and cut it out and glue it on there. But I am going to do this for my house. Trusty glue, which this one is, I'm like seriously trying to get the last drop of glue out of there. But I won't let you guys wait that out because we've been doing this long enough. Okay, so new glue. We're just gonna put some of our tacky glue down, which works really well for wood. I love this glue when working with these wood cuts and really any type of surface. The glue just really, I don't know, it works really well. And you can find this pretty much anywhere. Okay, so we got that. I like to take my finger and just kind of tap along the glue, especially when it's a cut that's thin like this and has a lot of grooves in it. That way you don't end up with like chunks of glue going through. It actually dries like fairly clear, so it's not necessarily required, but I just do it, so I'm used to doing it. Okay, here comes our cute little wreath. I'm gonna do my absolute best to try to get it somewhat centered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So right about here is where I want it, and I am just pressing it down and holding. Not a lot of pressure because I don't want to, I'm actually going to hold from both sides because I don't want it to bow out again. All right, so we're going to pray on it. It is almost Easter season, so that's appropriate. I mean, you should pray all year long if you're a praying person, but especially this time of year, right? Okay. And that's cute too, right? Cute, cute. But we're going to finish it up. And like I said, you could put anything inside this burlap, but I am just going to stick with the monogram style. Keep it very neutral. And this is going to look absolutely adorable in my house. Okay. And this is, you know, like every day. This is not seasonal. May have made it seasonal if you want, especially since we spent a whole $1 on the frame. And this part will pop out, right? If we decide we do want to switch this out and put, you know, like a, I don't know, a summer theme, a fall theme, something else like that in it down the road, all you gotta do is like pick up them tongs or the little prongs, I guess, and pop it out and put something else in there. But, you know, we're going with this for today. All right, again, let's set it up here so it looks somewhat like we know what we're doing. And we're gonna press, again, from both sides, our W. Check and make sure we didn't move it. Oh my gosh, guys, I love it. I love it. Very, very subtle, neutral. I might dinge up this green a little bit though, because now it's like the only real, like, I mean, obviously there's brown, but the only color, and it's just really kind of popping off of there, like a little bit more than it probably needs to. So one last finishing touch, just take a little bit of our Distress ink, and I'm just gonna like lightly just kind of dirty up this brown, just to make it not quite so like in your face green. I mean, obviously it's still gonna be green, but make it look a little older, a little dirtier, a little more natural. I love these Distress inks. It's wild to me how they make such a huge difference. You guys can see what I'm doing. Just take your Distress ink and these cute little like dauber paint deals that you can get very expensively from any of the stores. And just kind of like mute that green a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't want to turn it brown, but I don't want my green to be quite as vibrant, which is why I picked that avocado. I love that color. It's a very like dark green, not so in your face spring green, especially for these like, you know, more muted neutral style projects. Okay, I think that's good. All right, let's get this out of the way. Let's flip it over and you guys let me know what you think. I think it's super cute. Like I said, it's very simple, but in my opinion, it's classic, and it's got the monogram, which evidently is incredibly popular this year. Like I said, you could use anything in there, though. You know, like if you wanted to make it springy, get you a little woodcut of a flower and stick that in there. You wouldn't even have to do the wreath. You could put anything you wanted in there. You know what would be really cute is if you had some like little butterflies that you could plop along there, or whatever your decor brings you to. But this is what I made. All right, guys, thank you ever so much for watching. That was really fun. I like it. And what I like most about it is, as I was saying, down the road, goodness, Distress ink flying everywhere. Down the road, we could pop that center out and still reuse this frame. We haven't done anything to disrupt the frame, but we definitely took a $1 thrifted, thick, nice, natural wooden frame, personalized it for me and my house and whatnot with my W, and just made something kind of cool. All right, well, guys, enjoy your Friday night. I hope you guys are able to do something fun. Like I said, I'm going to get me some fish or something along those lines to celebrate one of the last Fridays of the Lent season. And that'll be that. We'll see what happens as the rest of the evening goes on. But I will see you guys back at some point tomorrow. We'll do a fun little project. And yeah, that's it. As always, I appreciate you guys ever so much for watching. I love each and every one of you. I hope I've inspired you to go find a cool little thrifty frame or some kind of thrifty thing and make something for yourself. It's good for the soul. Make something for yourself. All right, guys, take care, and I will see you back again tomorrow. All right, bye.